We'll begin by Commissioner Cora Flowers leading the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by me with invocation. So if you would please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in prayer. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen. Thank you. All right, first item is to approve the agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the agenda as presented.
We have a motion from Mr. Marr. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Todd. Any discussion or changes? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Thank you very much. First item tonight is a presentation. Consider proclamation declaring Sunday, November 1, 2015 to be Retired Educators Day. Do we have a motion to approve the proclamation? Mr. McLemore, do we have a second?
Second.
Second with Mr. Morrow. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. And at this time, Ms. Todd will read the proclamation. I believe we have Mr. Johnson here. So if you'll please come forward. Welcome back, sir.
It's a pleasure to do this for a dear friend. Okay, the proclamation commemorating Retired Educators Day. Whereas the governor of the state of Georgia has proclaimed Sunday, November the 1st, 2015 as Retired Educators Day in Georgia. And whereas there are more than 113,000 retired educators in Georgia, more than 25,000 of whom are members of the Georgia Retired Educators Association. And whereas the retired educators of Georgia donate thousands of hours of volunteer service, their talents to the cause of public education, and their efforts to provide academic development and invaluable contributions to the welfare of their respective communities across our state. And whereas retired educators possess valuable knowledge and use their lifetime of experiences and skills to enrich the educational process in a myriad of ways, often as a major source of insight and direction in education for our community, our state, and our nation. And whereas for some 57 years, the Georgia Retired Educators Association has dedicated its efforts to improving the welfare of retired educators and has provided opportunities for them to become involved in community activities. And whereas since the citizens of Griffin, Georgia are grateful for the work done by retired educators, it is appropriate that a day be designated for citizens to express their appreciation for the valuable contributions that retired educators have made and continue to make for the betterment of human lives and for society. And whereas local churches, civic groups, governmental entities, and community leadership will seek to recognize those lasting contributions made here by retired educators whose altruistic objective is to ultimately to leave our society better than they found it. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners does hereby sincerely thank those retired educators, and it urges its citizens to pause and reflect on their many noble acts of service on our behalf, and to observe Sunday, November the 1st, 2015 in an appropriate manner to honor Retired Educators Day in Griffin and the state. In witness whereof, I have hereunto directed that this proclamation be spread upon the minutes of this meeting of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners, set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Griffin to be affixed on this, the 27th day of October, 2015, designating the first day of November, 2015 as Retired Educators Day. Douglas S. Holberg, Chairman, attested to by Kenny L. Smith, City Manager. James, it's an honor to do this and give this to you.
Thank you, James. If do you have any comments you'd like, or introduce any other folks?
I would
that are
just
with
like
you?
to say that thank you for doing this. As you know, we have a retired educators unit here, and we meet the third Monday of every month at Ryan's. Retired teachers, retired educators are busy. Thinking about next Monday, I'll be in charge of one of the precincts, and there'll be several others working with that. Ringing the bells coming up, stuffing stockings coming up. We stay busy. So we're not sitting back, and we thank you for doing this and for recognizing us as part of Griffin. Thank you.
Thank you, James, for
Thank
your
you,
service
James.
and your time. Moving on to citizen comment. At this time, Chairperson opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to specific agenda items not listed on agenda for public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business, are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. With that being said, is there anybody on my left side that would like to come before the commission? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward to the podium, state your name and address clearly for the record. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Tammy Daniel. I stay at 1200 East McIntosh Road, Griffin, Georgia. I stand before the board today to ask if the city manager and the commissioners would consider promoting within the police department as chief. We have several candidates down at the police department that is well qualified to be the police chief here in Griffin. When Chief Chapeau was here, he sent a lot of young men down to Command College. You have several down there that's got degrees that is well qualified to be the chief of Griffin. So I stand today before the board of city commissioners and the city managers that we look inside the police department this time. We went out twice outside the city of Griffin. So I'm asking if y'all will look at the candidates within the department. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anybody on the left side that would like to come before the commission? Good evening, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
Holford, Chairman of the Board at Large. I wanted to...
Your name and address for the...
Pastor M.S. Goggins of Mount Moriah Baptist Church, 873 East Solomon Street.
That's East Solomon?
Right. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
All right. So what I wanted to do was also emphasize that what you consider that chief internal. My reason is being said that we can do it internal. We can have someone that might put the whole interest, 100% interest, to be a permanent chief, especially someone that reside in Griffin. I think if you just look forward, and we can consider that. I think that would be a great instinct for the city of Griffin to do that. Also, the other issue that is permanent is that my concern for the high cost of these electric bills that's still ongoing. And I was just listening at the retired teacher talk about the gifts and the timing of this being the holiday season. You got a lot of elderly folk paying $600 or $700 light bills, and I just don't see how we can quantify being happy with those people being under bondage of pressure. And 24 months ago, we kind of addressed this issue, but we got a quick tease on it. Bills came down for a temporary moment, but they escalated back up. When you got an elder lady that's getting $600 a month, $650 a month, how do we feel good about them not having food to eat, trying to pay a light bill?
Okay.
But I really would see if we can get that on the agenda. And also, I would like to, if we could get some competition. I understand they don't have a choice. They only have one choice of power.
Okay.
And I'm just asking Chairman
We'll be more than glad. We've got city staff, and we'll be more than glad to meet with individual customers. Our rates are actually lower than Georgia Power. We have not had a rate increase in 2 years. So it's a consumption issue more than a rate issue.
Well,
But
I
I'll be
don't
more
see-
than glad to meet with anybody as well as city staff on a one-on-one basis based on individuals' accounts.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I'm not a builder,
Mhm.
but I don't see how a two-room shack can quantify assumption for a $600 power bill.
And again, each household is a different, each one has its own issues, and each has its concerns, from insulation to quality of the system they have. So we can do energy audits, we can come out to assist the customers and give them advice, and at any time, I'm available, as well as anybody on the city staff.
Well, some of these residents are renting from people, maybe perhaps on the board or other areas, and I don't think they own the house. I don't think it ought to be there for senior citizens. I don't think that ought to be her job to insulate a house that she's paying $500-600 a month for rent, and then an equal amount for a power bill.
Okay.
I think
But-
we need to look at it a little bit more thorough than just
Tonight
perhaps the
is not
house
tonight,
condition.
we've got your concerns, but we'll be more than glad to sit down with that individual customer and go over their consumption usage and show them how the rate structure is and where their potential loss of energy is, okay?
Okay, I think it's more than an individual. What I want to do is, I'm kind of speaking for the community.
I understand.
Not just for
I will be
individuals.
more than glad to sit down and talk with you any other time, but tonight, we've got your concern. But you
Okay.
feel free to contact me or any other member on this board, as
Be
well as...
more than happy to,
Okay.
but Doug Hobart, can I get your card?
Mhm. Yes, sir. Is there anybody else on the left that'd like to come before the board of the commissioners? Okay, anybody on my right? All right, moving on to public hearings. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comment on specific advertised issues such as zoning, ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered by the city commission. Item tonight is received comments regarding a request to rezone the property located at 657 North Expressway, consisting of 7.03 plus or minus acres from planned commercial development to institutional, submitted by Barbara Jo Cook on behalf of Southern Crescent Technical College Foundation. Planning and Development Director Toussaint Kirk will address. Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Good evening, good evening. Tonight, I'd like to present to you the Southern Crescent Technical College Foundation. They're looking to rezone the property at 657 North Expressway. And this is the location of the old Winn-Dixie Shopping Center that's located next to the extra space storage facility. This location will house the Georgia Film Institute, which will train students to about film production. It's what they call below the line. Staff has looked at this rezoning, and everything that's located around that area is institutional. If you go across MLK, you got UGA. To the south, you have Southern Crescent as well. And to the northeast, you have UGA Griffin as well. So we feel that this is the highest and best use for this property, and that it should fit well into the community. Again, staff and the Planning and Zoning Board have both recommended approval of this request.
And do not see any stipulations in the rezoning.
No, sir.
Will there be, this is in the West Griffin LCI district, it's also in
Correct.
the TAD. Will any of the
Correct.
improvements have any effect on the TAD district at all? Or will
We're-
any money from the TAD district potentially be going?
We're looking into that since it is a foundation, and we're not sure if it's going to be on the tax roll at the end of after everything's said and done. So it's something that we will look at. We'll research.
I think it comes off the tax digest because it is a nonprofit
Right.
Right,
foundation.
So, but there wouldn't be any negative effect or anything in regards to that being a TAD?
I don't see where they would. They're not
No.
gonna do any new improvements on site. It's just internal, I guess.
Correct. They're just going to use the existing structure and build it up. So it'll have a new face to it. And from what I understand, they will use the rest of the L, if you will, at some point. So it shouldn't affect us anyway.
Are there any other questions from the board? This is a public hearing. At this time, open it up for any discussion. If there's anybody on my left side that'd like to come before the board to discuss this matter, please come forward. Is there anybody on my right side that'd like to come before the board,
questions or comments in regards to this matter? Thank you, sir. Moving on to consent agenda. Item 3, consider approval of the minutes of the October 13, 2015 regular scheduled meeting of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the minutes as presented if there are no additions or corrections by others.
We have a motion from Mr. Marr. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. McLemore. Any comments or changes? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Moving to the regular scheduled meeting. Item 4 is consider request to rezone property located at 657 North Expressway consisting of 7.03 plus or minus acres from PCD to institutional, submitted by Barbara Jo Cook on behalf of Southern Crescent Technical College.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the rezoning to institutional as submitted.
Mr. Marr made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Todd. And for the note, the money that's buying this is actually from SPOS dollars that were designated for Southern Crescent Technical. So our 1 cent making a difference. That being said, all in favor of the motion, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Kirk. Item 5, consider approval on second reading of an ordinance amending the Unified Development Code of the City of Griffin, Georgia at Article 12, signs, by repealing the current ordinance and adopting comprehensive revision of sign regulations in lieu thereof. Have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve.
Mr. Mars made a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Ms. Ward's made the second. Is there any discussion or questions? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0.
We'll bow to the
Thank
Supreme
you,
Court.
thank you, Mr. Whalen, in regards to your hard work and commitment on this. Item 6, consider adoption of an ordinance amending the Code of Griffin, Georgia at Chapter 58, Offenses and Miscellaneous Provisions, Article 1 in general by enacting a new Section 5813, Aggressive Panhandling, defining such conduct, declaring such conduct to be an offense against the city, and provide sanctions thereof.
Ask a question?
Yes, sir.
I read this through, and I assume you have, well, I know you have blessed this, but the courts have thrashed this out, so we're on not gray area, but a fairly black and white area.
Panhandling itself cannot be an offense, not prohibited. Only aggressive panhandling. Basically, the distinction is when somebody panhandles aggressively, they put the person who's being solicited in fear or apprehension of their own safety.
So if somebody panhandling asks me for money or whatever, and then someone politely says, sorry, I can't help you, if they make fighting words or use anything
Correct.
derogatory or make actions.
And we went through and tried to set out each of the instances in here. Also, something we picked up from some other jurisdictions have done and courts have looked at, our police officers are going to be given some special training in this.
That was my next question.
And Chief Eaton's already started to do that. And basically, the first time around, they're going to warn people to cease and desist. And if they don't do it, then they get to visit the jail.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Todd with a motion, do we have a second? Second by Ms. Ward. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. All those against, like sign. So 6-1, Ms. Flowers voting against. Item 7, consider approval of a bid and work agreement with P.F. Moon and Company for the construction and installation of an adjustable frequency drive for Steel Branch Regional Water Treatment Facility in the amount of $160,000 for public works and utilities. Director Dr. Brant Keller will address if there's any questions.
Chair, I move we approve.
Mr. Morris made a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Ward. Any other questions or comments? And this is a budgeted item, correct?
Under budget, looks like.
All right. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 8, consider agreement with Cerulean, Inc., doing business as Recce for the online registration service for the city pavilion reservation and payment for the Public Works and Utilities Department. So my understanding is the previous company is no longer in service, and this is a new contractor? Okay. We have have a
Move we approve.
We have a motion from Ms. Todd. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Ward. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 9, consider approval of the certain general release and indemnification agreement between Cheryl L. Gilbert and the City of Griffin settling all claims present, pending, and unasserted arising from that certain motor vehicle collision that formed the subject matter of civil action file number 12-SV-345, State Court of Spalding County.
Chair, I'll move that we approve.
We have a motion approved by Mr. Marr. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. McCord. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 10, consider denial of a claim by Brenda Shaw for the injuries allegedly sustained on September 16, 2015 in the parking garage of the city as Ms. Shaw was leaving the city offices. Her notice of claim filed by Attorney Timon Shepard in a 9/22/15 letter to the city manager Smith specified no amount of monetary damages. Pleasure of the board.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the denial.
Got a motion from Mr. Morrow for denial.
What's the claim? What are they
I'll
asking for?
second it.
Ms. Todd made a second. So at this time, there has been no monetary claim. Okay?
So they're not asking for a claim, what are they?
They're giving notice that they may file a lawsuit.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments? All in favor of considering the denial of the claim, please signal by raising your hand. All those against, like sign. 6-1, Mr. McCord voting against. Item 11, consider approval of a resolution to continue as a certified city of ethics. City manager will address if there's any questions or comments. Pleasure of the board. Ms. Ward with the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. McCord. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. And final item tonight, item 12, consider approval of travel request of Vice Chair Dick Marr to attend the MEAG Power Mayor Summit, November 13 through 15, 2015.
Move we approve.
Ms.
Get
Todd
me out
made
of
a,
town, right?
Todd
Right.
made a
Got it
motion,
now.
second by Ms. Ward. Any questions or comments? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Represent us well, sir. Learn to be wise. All right, well, that covers the regular scheduled meeting. At this time, we'll have city manager's report. Good evening, Mr. Smith.
Good evening. Thursday, 4 o'clock, don your best Halloween costume and come on downtown. From 4 to 6, we'll have Halloween trick-or-treat downtown, so we look forward to you coming by.
I'm gonna dress up as a grumpy old man, is that okay?
You're successful.
At what time?
It's 4 to 6.
4 to 6.
Are you
And
gonna
you
give out goodies?
Well, you start off at,
Yes, ma'am.
6, Solomon.
Starts at 6th Street Park.
Park, you get a map of the different participating businesses, and then you go out and hold everybody hostage for candy.
Hope you have on your calendar November the 7th. That's our citywide employee picnic. Come by anytime. We'll be there around lunchtime until, and we'll be at City Park across from the golf course. So we hope you can come by and visit with the employees.
Where was the last time?
Pardon?
Down where it was the last
Yes,
time?
yes. And finally, mark your calendar for November 19th. That's graduation of Citizens Government Academy at the Welcome Center at 6:30. It's gone by awful fast. That's November 19th at 6:30. We got
Thursday
like
night.
3 more weeks, Thursday night.
Friends of NRA banquet, too. All right. Mr. Whalen,
Don't have anything.
Mr. McCord,
Don't have anything tonight.
Mr. McLemore, Mr. Morrow.
Yes, I'd like to comment on the ribbon cutting over at the park, at the Oaks at the park, however the name. I thought that was a great moment for Griffin, and I want to particularly, as they did, thank Bob Dull for his leadership and vision. He's been a tremendous director at the Griffin Housing Authority and the board. Also want to compliment our own Commissioner Ward, who sits on that board, for her contribution, because I think they moved the needle significantly in the city of Griffin, and I was very proud of what went on there.
Ms. Todd.
I too would like to compliment, and I have already told, Mr. Dull about this. That happened to be in the 4th District. That's the district that, according to our charter, that I serve. And it's a beautiful compliment to our city, the investment of $15 million and to upgrade housing. But more than anything, I hope everybody read what Eula Redding said when she gave her speech. I've known her since I've been an elected official serving under the Spalding County Collaborative. We nominated her once for a point of light for WSB-TV many, many years ago because of all the unselfish work, volunteer work she did at Meriwether Homes in educating children from Ann Street School. And, you know, she was not an educator. She had to go back and get her is James still here? She had to go back and get her GED. And she's a wonderful, wonderful servant of the city of Griffin. That's it.
Ms. Flowers? No, not yet. Ms. Flowers? I just want to tell everybody, please remember to go vote November 3rd. Whether for or against, preferably for. And we've only got 7 more days, Ms. Flowers. Keep working hard, and thank you, staff, for all you do. I know last night the electric department was up early in the morning, working hard to get power restored, and every department's doing an outstanding job. We appreciate the hard work you do for the citizens of Griffin. And yes, thank y'all for being here tonight. We love to have you. Welcome back.
Yes.
Second and fourth Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And staff, myself, or any other commissioners are more than willing to sit down at any time to discuss matters and work to the potential solutions for the betterment of all the citizens. With that being said, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? Mr. Ward made a motion, second by Ms. Todd. All in favor, signal by getting up.